Hi, my name is Buddy Gott. Welcome to Buddy's Writing Show. I am very, very happy to have with me tonight a good friend of mine, a great writer, and she was the very first guest on the first episode of Buddy's Writing Show way back when. And welcome to the show, Crissy Moss.
Hi, nice to see you again.
Well, thank you. Very, very good to see you. And as I was telling you before the show, tonight's kind of well, for me, it's special because this is the 50th episode of the show. And I was hoping to have something kind of special for the 50th episode. And what could be more special than to have my very first guests back for the 50th anniversary of Buddy's Old Writing Show.
So well, gee, I feel like I never left.
Well, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Except I know you did leave, and you've been very busy for the past, year and a half or so since I did
Pretty
the first
much.
show. You have, and one of the things I know you've been busy with is your brand new release. Just came out just this past week, right?
It was,
and that is called
3 days
You Got
ago?
It. Oh, okay. Well,
It was not very long ago at all.
The timing of this, then, I think is fantastic. Your new book is called Witch's Sacrifice, and it's book one of the Witches trilogy, correct?
Correct.
How about telling us all about Witch's Sacrifice?
Well, I started writing a novel called Mermaid's Curse because it was ostensibly about a mermaid who had been cursed, and she had to get rid of the curse. And I accidentally wrote a trilogy. So
that's great.
That's
fantastic.
It got away with me, and it became a whole trilogy. And so I ended up with 180,000 words over the course of the whole trilogy.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was writing a lot last year, but I didn't publish anything last year because I was writing 3 different novels. And so I finally got the first one finished last the end of
Crissy, are you still there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay, you kind of cut out. I can hear you now. You kind of like paused. I lost you for a second. You said you kind of got the first one finished in the middle of last year.
Well,
right?
it was I got it finished I finished it in December, had some beta readers read it. They suggested some things, so I had to do some more writing. I finished it again in March, and the editing was tough because I got a full professional edit where they do 2 rounds of edits, and then they do the proofreading, and that's tough the first time. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah, I can imagine it is, and I know I had seen, you were sharing some of your journey, a lot of your journey on your website, on your blog, which is at fangsandlasers.com. Is that right?
Or CrissyMoss.com is a short link to it.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. And yeah, I know that was kind of new for you doing it, the way that you did with this project.
Right.
Yeah, it sounds like it was a lot, but I know that you're very happy with the way things turned out, and I'm very excited for you.
I've had nothing but good things be said since then, so hopefully it works. You go through that long process because one edit takes a couple weeks maybe. This took a whole month, and it was back and forth, and it's a long, involved process.
Oh, yeah, it most certainly is. Well, that's great. And now, as we said, you wrote a whole trilogy here, and not what you expected at first,
right?
So you're already, so you have like the whole trilogy written already, and you're just
the second one is like 85-90% finished. And the third one is about 75% finished. So it shouldn't take as long to finish them as it did the first one, because I wrote it all at once.
Right. Now, let me ask you this. Then I tend to ask writers this. A lot of people outline. A lot of people do the pantsing. Where they don't outline. And obviously, you said this was just going to be one book at first. I mean, did you have to while you got further and further into it? Did you have to like really sit down and say, okay, I need to figure out exactly how I'm going to do this and kind of structure it out?
So there's pantsers and there's plotters and there's the in-betweeners. I'm none
Hmm.
of those things. I actually just wrote a blog post that I'm going to post later today. I heard this great term. It's called the grasshopper method.
Oh, the grasshopper method. What? Without without like spoiling your posting that you're going to do, but I'm intrigued.
It's where you hop back and forth across your novel and write little sections at a time. I cannot write in a linear fashion. I've tried so many times. I've tried outlining to make it easier, and it won't work. So things like Wattpad and stuff like that, you post a chapter at a time. I can't really do those because I write like the first chapter and then the 16th chapter and then the last chapter and jump back to the 15th, and it's
Right.
crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, well, I've done the same kind of thing. Like the book that I'm working on right now, I was maybe 4 chapters into it, and then I got excited because in my head I knew what like the final like fight scene was going to be, the big action scene, and I had to go ahead and write that. And
Right.
I think that can be very beneficial because
Yeah, and
you've got that done, and you kind of like can actually build a little bit more to that once
right.
you
And I
know.
think everybody does it a little bit, but I do
Mhm.
it all of the time. And I won't even hop between one pieces in a project. I will go to other books and do it in that one too while I'm writing this book. It's very, yeah. I was working on a couple of short stories at the same time I was working on the novel. So maybe I'll get
Oh,
those
cool.
out there too.
Oh, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. And speaking of your short stories, I know one of the very first things that we talked about was some of your, short story flash fiction collections that you have out there. And I want to, tell the viewers, in case you're not familiar with that, Chrissy's got some great things out. You've got Small Bites. What is there, 2 or 3 books of those, right?
4 books and then one compilation that has all of them.
Oh,
And
fantastic.
it's 14 stories altogether. So yeah,
That
there's
has,
that.
they're so good. Such good stories.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. And you told me something before the show that I'm excited about for you, and you didn't tell me much about it, so I'm excited to ask you more about it. Is the fact that you said you're delving into audiobooks now? Is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So Quotidian Lights told me I should. Well, she encouraged me to go do it, so I did. I jumped in, and she was right. I set up a couple of the books as profit sharing to maybe
Oh,
get a
okay.
couple of people to do them, and they're just short stories, so they're like 5,000 to 6,000 words, so not a huge amount of time. And it, as she explained, a lot of the newer people on ACX will do the short pieces so that they have more samples, and they have more to show for their name, and that gets them bigger contracts. So mine is kind of perfect for that because I'm starting to get a bigger audience, and the more notice I get, the more notice they will get if I choose them. So the first one I put up was Prophecy by Barlight, which is
Oh, okay.
my comedy short story about the
Right. Right.
prophecies being self-fulfilling. And the first audition I got was really good. He did voices for each of the characters, and I asked him, well, can you do you sing? Because part of the story is about the bard who comes in and is in a drunken slur sing-songing limericks across as he's sloshing across the floor. And I'm like, you're gonna have to be able to do that. And he's like, not a problem. The last book I did was all about music. So
Oh, great.
I took him on, and he's going to do that this week sometime, hopefully, and hopefully it'll be up soon. That'll
Oh,
be
that's
cool.
exciting. Yeah, that's very, very cool. I know you're familiar with my wife, Lisa.
Mhm.
Last year, she had gotten her 2 books done the same way. Using Audible, and she found some narrators that she liked, and it's great because like a whole new audience.
Well, not
Checking out
just
your
that,
works. Because so
is
many people.
what I found was hearing somebody reading my story was kind of amazing. It made me feel like I was actually doing something, worthwhile, and that other people would enjoy it.
Right.
So, I mean, it's one thing to write it, or even like a picture. It's one thing to paint a picture, but until somebody else is enjoying it, and you see them enjoying it, it's not really fulfilling.
Right, right. You know who you ought to look into getting to do one of your books is that Morgan Freeman guy. I don't know if you heard of him. He's an up and coming actor. He's got a pretty decent voice. You might want to check into that.
He's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, he's not bad. It's not bad.
I keep telling Scott he should do audiobooks because he has a great voice and he does.
That's right. Oh yeah, yeah. Scott would be great for that, and that is Scott's. I'm going to say his real last name. Okay, yeah, Scott Richards. You know, I don't know his real last name out there. Yeah. But yeah, actually, Scott Richards would be really good at that.
Yeah,
really good at that. And you know, speaking of Scott Richards, now Scott Richards, you know, you're pretty well known in the world of self-publishing already, even aside from your great writing, because you know you've been a co-host of. You were one of the original hosts, Spurt. You know, the self-publishing roundtable.
I helped come up with that name.
Then, yeah. And you know, you did an awesome job on there, and then you went on and you run the storytelling podcast with Scott and with some fella named
I think his name that's probably him. ZZ Bolger, which we blame for everything.
Everybody blames ZC Bolger. You know,
right.
There's a whole big routine about that. You know, send your
tweets to dead.
That's true. Better Off Dead, hosted by our good friends David Wright, Sean Platt, and Johnny B. Truant. That's pretty much how a lot of us got to know each other originally by watching their show. And then there's been so many kind of like, you know, spin-offs or inspirations, you know, based on their show. But yeah, you did a great job on those shows. And like I said, storytelling podcast. You guys ended recently, and now you got a new thing going on. Because I know you're into games, and Scott and Garrett are into games. Now, is Zach doing this with you guys too?
No,
just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. You know, like my 300 library of games. Yeah, only a little bit. But yeah, Zach got married, and you know
he did get married. Okay, I didn't know that.
You know how marriages make everything fall apart, right?
Yeah, boy, do I.
I know.
No, I'm kidding. I'm very, very happy.
I know.
Lisa,
I've seen your pictures on Facebook. You are very happy.
walking on air, but yeah, so Zach got married, so he's probably a little busy. I can relate to that,
right? And
you guys started up this new show.
Living in Florida and us living in California, or well, the two of them live in California and I live in Seattle. So our time just couldn't coincide anymore. So, and with Garrett feeling like he started that with Zach and he wanted to continue it with Zach, we stopped doing that. But we didn't want to stop working together. And we all loved games. So we figured, well, why not play games?
Yeah, that's awesome. And this, well, you were telling me before, it's not currently on YouTube like your previous show, but Garrett has a Twitch channel.
Garrett has well, we all three have Twitch channels. It's
okay.
mostly
I don't even know what Twitch is.
Oh, Twitch is a gaming platform.
Okay, that would explain it. That would explain, because I'm not.
You're not a gamer? For shame. No.
I was gonna. Well, if you cover like checkers on here, do you guys ever like play live checker?
There probably is like live checkers or chess or something.
But
Twitch is expanding quite a lot, so they're including more and more stuff, and because live gaming has become a sport, and so you can go to these stadiums that are sold out to hundreds of thousands of people watching teams play video games for money, cash prizes, like really huge cash prizes. So So Twitch is huge. It's huge. The gaming, just esports in general, is like way up there. And
I had no idea.
Yeah, well, unless you're a gamer, you probably just kind of ignore it, like most people.
But I like to have my finger on the pulse of everything that's going on. So my fingers have been busy doing other things.
The whole marriage thing.
Well, anyway, so how about that local sports team?
But
that's fun that and that's got to be cool, because that's probably exposing you guys to a whole different audience. Than you had before, and I think that's one of the things Garrett even talked about in your last show. Because the shows are awesome, but a lot of it's writers watching it, and you kind of want to branch out and get other people to be familiar with you, and they like you, there's chances are they're going to, check out, some of the other things you're into.
Right, exactly. It's like using Pinterest or any other social media platform. You don't go on there and say, "Hey, buy my book." You go on there and just interact with people and do the stuff you love, and eventually people are going to notice you. So.
Right, yeah, and I think like Twitter and a lot of the other places, maybe like 2-3 years ago, it worked when people were going on saying "buy my book," but
Yeah.
if you're a reader and you follow, like those crazy sorts of people, see
Right.
like so much about, you kind of tune it out a lot. I see so much in my news feed on Twitter like that, but if you see like other things that the person's doing that makes them interesting,
Right.
that's pretty cool. I know Robert Chashoot.
Chastain? No.
No, shoot. He's pretty cool. He's a great writer. He was on. He's co-hosted Spurt a couple of times recently. He was a guest on there, but he did a great blog posting, pretty much along those lines. That like, actually, not to pat myself on my own back, but he was talking. He used me in a one of his blog postings, saying that because I'll post some some funny things on my Twitter, and
Right.
And he'd be like, because he's laughed at a couple of things that I've said, he'd be more inclined to go check out my website and then check out my writings, and just same sort of thing. People think, oh, okay, she's a cool chick, she's into games, I want to see what else she's doing.
Right. And I've been guilty of that myself quite a lot, especially this last year. I've had my head so far at my book that that's all I thought about. That's all I was thinking. That's all I was breathing. And so that all of my tweets and stuff was like book, 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 book. And I'm sure lots of people got annoyed with it. And yet at the same time, my Twitter is like growing. I've gotten all these new people following me on Twitter for I don't know what reason, but hi.
Well, your stuff is always interesting, and it's great. Like I mentioned, yours is one of, and I'm not just saying it because we're friends. We go back a little ways, but your website's great. I love, like I said, you share your journey as a writer and other things that are going on in your life too. But it's great. I mean, and what's nice is, you're really honest about stuff too. I know you did a posting not too long ago where you were struggling with some things, going on with the writing and the editing process, and I know there was one where you said you felt like you didn't even want to do it anymore, because it was stressful. And what's great is, you'll share that kind of stuff, and and I hope you keep doing it forever or as long as you want to do it. Because
I hope so too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So people should definitely check out your site. I'm going to have one of those cool little link things here at the bottom for you to.
What did I say on Twitter the other day? I was going to write until I ran out of ideas, which pretty much meant I was never going to stop writing.
Exactly. Well, that's the way it should be. I think you commented on it. Lisa and I went and saw Neil Gaiman speak last night.
Right. I told you I was jealous.
Yeah. And we went and saw him in Philadelphia, and oh my God, it was so fantastic, so inspiring.
He
and that's
is
one of the things,
so amazing.
He is. And if you're watching this and you want to see something super inspiring, watch the speech he gave. I think it was 2 years ago at the Philadelphia School of Arts, the commencement speech, and that's one of the most inspiring. Yep. Make great. Yeah, make good art. It was great. But one of the things he said last night was, someone had asked him, if you could die. I'm paraphrasing, of course. If you could die having told all the stories what would you rather let me try that again in English, okay? Okay.
Wait, we speak English?
Well, yeah, I try. Okay.
I try to write in it, and some days I work, and some days it doesn't.
It's like which of these two would you rather have? Would you rather die having told all of the stories that are within you already and be done with everything that's inside of you, or die having still like a bunch of stories within you that you want to tell? And he said, it was sort of he had to think about it for a second, but he really, because it would be great to have all that out, but then again, he always wants to have that passion,
Mm-hmm.
And I think we all want that. That's what keeps people going. I think that's why you see so many successful writers, actors, artists who are very, very old and still going at it, doing their thing. Look at Paul McCartney. He's like in his early 70s right now. He's doing a big tour. He just had a new album out. He's still got that passion inside of him, and
I've met
that's
a lot
fantastic.
of old people who like retired and stuff, and a lot of them, some of them follow their passions, and they'll go do that thing that they always wanted to do but never could do. Like my boyfriend Greg, his father started playing piano. He's in his late 70s. I think he's old, gray. He's
Right.
up there. He hasn't retired from his job, but he all of a sudden just decided, I'm getting a piano and I'm going to learn the piano. And he's doing recitals and everything, and it's marvelous. It keeps him energetic and youthful and makes him want to keep going. Other people, they're like, I don't have anything to do.
Right.
My job was my life. Well, I don't want my job to be my life. I want my life to be my job.
Right. Oh, I like that a lot. Yeah, that's fantastic, and I think that's great about your boyfriend's father. And yeah, I know. Even with my dad, I mean, he's passed on a while back, but after he had retired from his job, he got like really into things that fascinated him. I mean, he was doing some writing. He was like got very into computers. He was a guy who was in his early 70s, and he decided, I'm going to learn as much about computers, and he got into that. And you got to have those passions, to keep you going, which is great. Hey, I want to bring up a comment here from I know this fella, David Anson, and he says, "Woohoo! Congrats on the big 50th show. Writing, that is, yeah, congrats on the big 50. I'm not at that 50 yet. Writing show, that is great to see Crissy too." And it is great to have you back here on the show, Crissy. And like we said, you're working on the trilogy, and I'm really excited about the audiobooks too. I want you to definitely, let me know when that's out. And Witch's Sacrifice, I've, we used to, do like chats with some of our writer friends, and I would hear about the process of that as you were writing it, and I'm so happy for you, so excited that this is out, and it looks great. I'm gonna have it on my Kindle version.
Beautiful.
The cover is beautiful. I was trying to bring that up here earlier, but I wasn't able to do that. But people go to Amazon.com, hey, and here's something. You've got your books on all the platforms right now, don't you, Crissy?
I do. This is the first one I have on all of the platforms. So,
right, I saw you comment on that the other day.
It's not on Smashwords because fuck Smashwords.
right. Well, you're using Draft to Digital, right? Where it's going to be...
Right. So it's on iTunes and Nook and just everything. It's everywhere. Plus paperback and Amazon, of course.
That's all very, very exciting. And I want everyone to check out that. And check out Crissy's earlier works, because you've got quite a bit out there. Like we had mentioned, Small Bites. And I always mispronounce it. Is it Osiren's Tears?
Osiren's Tears. The interesting thing... The reason I think I was able to write a whole trilogy in a year was because I said it in the world that I had created, which is Osiren's Tears. So Osiren's Tears is the mythology of how the world was created. And it shows like the gods and the wars that split up the world, and how the Sea of Tears was formed to begin with, which the Sea of Tears is where everything happens. So they're indirectly related.
Gotcha. Oh, that's great. Well, then that tells me that once people get Witch's Sacrifice, they should go and buy that too.
Maybe.
I know they don't have to, but I mean, you're already there in Amazon or wherever. It's just a click away. It's just a click away for more Crissy Moss.
I don't know. Maybe I'll make Osiren's Tears the free book to encourage people to go there.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Throw a chapter in there or whatever. I'm not telling you what you know far better than I what to do. You're great. Crissy, I want to thank you so much for being on the show again.
It was great being here.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. What you drinking there? Is it water?
It's just water. I ran out of vodka.
Well, for the love of God, get yourself some more vodka. Okay? You can't have enough vodka.
I'd rather have beer. Beer's nicer.
Yeah, there you go. I had one earlier myself. Anyway, enough about alcohol from us. But definitely go check out Crissy's stuff. Check out her website, CrissyMoss.com. Right?
Yep.
And you're going to check out, I'm going to put up that Twitch thing once I find that and figure out exactly what that is.
You can go to my website later and read about the grasshopper method.
Yes, yes. Read about the grasshopper method, which sounds really cool. And everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said, the show's back. The show was away for a month or so, but I'm glad to be back, and I'm especially glad to be back with Crissy Moss as my first guest.
Well, I'm glad you're back too.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon. Bye.